You gave me a few good words, uh, but as we go through this talk, you will realize there are many failures along this whole journey. So at the very outset, welcome all of you. Especially, I would like to mention about your two trustees, Shri Gurbat Singh ji and Sarabjit Singh ji. I have had the fortune and the privilege of meeting them in Nagpur just a few years ago. Uh, they came across as such humble and amazing people. Uh, I really thank them. I would like to thank and place on record my appreciation for Dr. Ittarwar, who is heading all of this. And so many of you, like you, Mr. Loya, and others, I may not know, but especially I have to make mention and I have to thank Dr. Mitali, who has been coordinating with me. Thank you very much. Uh, so I will spend the next 70 minutes. We have a 90-minute session. I'll spend the next 70 minutes trying to explore entrepreneurship with all of you. It will be generic stuff. I will try to touch upon entrepreneurship in the pharma field. Uh, After that, we will leave about 20 minutes for questions and interactions, etc. In one sense, each one of you is an entrepreneur because uh, my mother has always been saying to raise a child is bigger than a factory, is bigger than any business. So most of you, I'm sure, have children. And trust me, the biggest and the best investment is our children for the future and for all times to come. And in this session, are we really going to discuss how to make millions in a minute, in a month, in a few months, in a few years? Trust me, all of this is a myth. So in this first part, we will deal with attributes that are required. In the second part, we will deal with various business ideas in the current day and age. And I will end by giving an overview of the sacrifices you will have to make if you have to become an entrepreneur. Let me take you through a few of my failures because there's immense learning, as they say, from failures. 1984, I passed out my pharmacy, and I'm sure Dr. Ittarwar would second this if I said that I was a little bit offbeat most of the times. Especially, I had come over to Nagpur from Bombay, so I don't know, but I love the Nagpur environment. I made excellent friends, and I cherish those even till date. But still, I was offbeat. And during my third year, I did a, a diploma in business management. Now, you are not allowed to take admission into a DBM unless you're a graduate. I managed, and I stood second. And the complaint went up to my teachers that this boy is doing something in the evening. Every day he runs off somewhere in the evening and don't know. So finally they found out that I'm doing a diploma in business management. I was hauled up. They said, you will do miserably in your studies in pharma, etc. Luckily, it all went through. And somehow that's, now why did I do a diploma in business management? So 1977, yeah, I guess 76 or 77, I passed my 10th standard. Now take this into background that I'm a Marwadi. Okay, so Marwadi means the DNA is already a little bit tilted towards one, business. So my father was working in the Birlas, and I had a 6-month gap between my 10th standard and the 11th. And at that young age, he made me join his company called Zenith Steel Limited. It was a very big Birla Group company, not anything small. And I was there for 6 months. They put me through many departments. They put me through accounts where I would write checks and I would do totals. There were different machines to do totaling at that time, not a calculator. And I would have to go to the big manager's cabin I would have to stand in front of him and he would sign the checks and I would be turning the sheets of the checks. And if I didn't do that, he would stare at me. So that day I had decided, probably when I look back, I think that's the time when I decided I also want to sign checks worth a few crores or, few lakhs. So that may have spurred me, but really what spurred me was I got into the export department, and there I worked under IIM Ahmedabad, and he was an engineer, and then he did his IIM Ahmedabad, and he was export manager there. One Mr. Chand Prakash Garg, and he was into export of steel pipes, etc. And I just adored him, the way he would talk, the way he would analyze situations, etc. And I decided I want to do an MBA also. So this, of course, I didn't know at that time that I had decided. When I look back, I see all these turning points in life. So I can't claim that, no, I had already set my goals that I want to become an MBA or something. No ways. Pharmacy graduation, I gave my MBA entrance exam for Bombay, Narsi Monji. I passed through, and I was hauled up once again by one of my teachers who said, "You'll make a mess of it. Why are you going, from technical to commercial?" Anyway, he was upset that I was not doing my master's in pharmacy, but I joined MBA out here. And the first job that I got after doing my MBA was with Voltas. And the first job was as a product executive and to launch biscuits called Cookie Feast at that time. So, already the combination was a little bit weird. Pharmacy and then management, and then, you're going to launch biscuits. Well, what about tablets and capsules? Now, here is my first failure. Within 2 months of joining Voltas, I left my job because I was so impressed with this Mr. Chand Prakash Garg, who used to trade around in steel. So with my father's help, I started trading in stainless steel of all the things, and spring steel. Do you know the spring steel, that the shock absorbers that are there in every trucks? You see those long, they call it pata in Hindi. Okay, the spring patas. So I started trading in that. And I failed miserably because I hated it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about stainless steel. People would make a fool of me. I mean, not that I was not one, but additionally, they would load it on me that you're a fool. And within about a year, I had to quit that business. I had to say that I can't sustain it. But luckily, I got a job in GK Exim Limited, which was a pharma and a medical export company. And it was a great experience traveling all across the world. I was Africa and a Russia specialist. I used to travel to these countries, especially Zambia, Nigeria, Kenya, and Russia, of course. Now, during my job itself, I had a few, because that itch for business did not go so easily. So 1990, I launched my own brand of sanitary napkins called Blossom. And I wanted to market it through multi-level. I launched it, I made up good packaging, I got the product done up, etc. But in 2 years, it closed. I was unable to focus on it, and it closed. I'll tell you the reasons for failure slightly later on. 1995, I joined Leica. And it's the same time, I sort of partnered with a few friends to make some chemicals. That venture never took off. In 1998, in Leica itself, I started a company called Dawa Bazaar Limited, and it was dawabazar.com, with a view to have medicine retail. Of course, now it's a very big thing like Pharmeasy and a couple of others. I started at that time. We actually evinced a lot of interest from Ranbaxy. Shivinder Singh had personally called me up and he said, "What is this? I want a pie of this." But with the dot-com bust of 2000, it all went down. There was no funds available. In 2000, I went off to Singapore and I started an IT staffing business in Singapore. With funds raised from an industrialist, a friend of ours, a fair degree of success, but I could not understand that business so well. At that point in time, I sold off my stake 3 years later, came back to India. I started another IT staffing company business in India and ran it with a fair degree of success until 2008, when there was a great meltdown. There was a depression all across the world, and the business went down. I had to shut that business. So what is surviving now is, since 2010, I started a biotechnology trading business. And this has achieved a fair degree of success for me. Uh, Now, why did I fail so many times, during the job? So there was this very great need that I need to have another source of business, or I want to go independent, or, I need some passive income coming in for me. But I was unable to focus on it because I was trying to do it with a job, and that does not work. It just doesn't work. At least those days it did not work, because you have to focus on your job also, and those days communications were far more clumsy as compared to today. So business requires full-time attention, and therefore none of my businesses during my job days succeeded. Just a small statistic, I may be right, wrong, superly wrong, but my guess is that not more than 100 businesses out of 1 billion tries have super success. So that's the kind of failure rate. Now, how many would have a fair degree of success? This I have heard from Simon Sinek, a very good business management business person. And he says only 3 in 100 have a fair degree of success. And he says that brands, they fail left, right, and center. Even an established brand, at many times, it fails miserably at times. But there was one venture that did succeed, and it continued. In 1995, I took up the publishing of a magazine called Back to Godhead. I was, of course, the honorary publisher. Let me tell you a little bit background. I'm a practicing Hare Krishna from ISKCON for the last many years, since my student life. And there is this concept of seva. So I was offered many, some other services too. But this service, when I was offered, of running a magazine, of printing it, publishing it, and doing so with profits. So this one really had the elements of finance, marketing, production, human relations. I relished this. And this venture is fairly successful, I can say, because it had the blessings of Lord Krishna. Although I'm not here to preach, but I'm just sharing my realizations. And till date, it is now 25 years. We are still publishing the magazine monthly. Just before the pandemic broke out, we used to do about all across India. We have 7 languages, but the 3 major languages were Hindi, Marathi, and English, and they had a circulation put together of about 70 to 80,000 copies every month. And every month we would have to come out with it timely with a magazine. Now the big question, I go on to my second part. Everyone has this question, what business should I start? So before we ask this what, famously, once again, I refer to this speaker called Simon Sinek. If you can note it down and you can Google his name, very wonderful young man. He speaks about why businesses fail. And he speaks about the why of things being more important than the what, how, where, etc., etc. He says the why of things is most important. So instead of asking what business to start, we should first dwell on why, not the what. Why do you want to start a business? Now, people will have different replies to this. It could be that, one of the biggest reasons is my boss is not good, my job is not good, I need independence, I need to earn a lot of money, etc., etc. Trust me, none of these reasons are good enough. The only good reason that you can have is that you have a passion for a certain skill, for a certain work, for a certain idea. That passion is most important. So before you start a business, please question yourself, why do I want to do it? And do not go with these replies that I want to leave my job, or I want to become big like this man, or I want to earn like Ambani, or I want to earn like so many other successful people. No, please find out what is your passion, and or what is your skill set, what is your idea. So let's come back again to saying, what business should I start? Obviously, in this day and age, or at any given time, there would have to be the use of technology. It would have to be built in, and more so now. Especially, we would have to, if you would think of any business, you would think of online, of course. But trust me, online again has a lot of dead corpses all along the route. Uh, the other preference is to do service. Now, service requires uh, very less investment, but it requires the big investment of your time. And I include trading also as part of service, because trading is finally when it's not simply delivery of goods. It is trading with a difference, whereby you see that you deliver on time and so many other things, that you're able to satisfy the client. So goods happen to be just a part of it's a byproduct, but the main thing in trading is your service. I'm sure you've all been to malls or things to purchase, and the person who sold you the goods actually served you better, or the car that you opted to buy, that person served you better in terms of your needs, in terms of your questions that he or she answered. So service is a very, it's easy to start, it's easy to scale as well. But of course, you'll have to find your niche as to what services you want to do. Now, the third and the most difficult, in as far as I'm concerned, is manufacturing. If your idea is a product, if your idea is to sell a capsule, if your idea is to sell anything for that matter, a stainless steel pipe, or it could be tiles, it could be anything. At the outset, please find your market for it and outsource your manufacturing. It may seem very expensive that you have outsourced your manufacturing, but trust me, it reduces the cost of failure. There are many products that now I have started to manufacture. There are two additional product lines that I manufacture. One is a water purification system, and the other is a cooling jacket for the defense purposes. Now, both these products, I traded with them. I was able to know what the market is, what the market requires, and only then did I go to the backward integration of getting it outsourced for myself. And finally, today, after many years, I have come to the stage of assembling that product for myself. I'm still not so deeply into manufacturing. The next most important thing before you say, I want to start business, is your own aptitude, your own attitude, and your own abilities. So you will have to really, I'm sure all of you have seen the credits. When a movie ends, you see, okay, this person was a director, this person was actor, this person was story writer, this person was videographer, etc., etc., etc. And it goes on for about 15 to 20 seconds, the names. So when you start a business, the reason why you need attitude, aptitude, ability is all those people, the videographer, the editor, the director, the sound artist, everything will be only one person at the outset, and that is you, nobody else. And it starts from there. Especially if all of us, we don't have unlimited funds. It's very difficult at the outset to get access to unlimited funds, where person says, go ahead, blow it up. That happens probably in America with some good ideas now floating around, but a lot of people go down as well in that case. So in a business, you're going to be all rolled into one. You'll be the legal person, you'll be the accounts guy, you'll be the sales guy, you'll be the production guy, you'll be the QC guy. You will even have to be the delivery boy. So during the pandemic, which started around 15th of March or 21st of March, our office attendance came down. We had only about 5% of office staff, or 5 to 7% of office staff attending, and that was just 4 people. There was one delivery boy or 2 delivery boys who supported me, our logistics manager who came in, and there was me. And my driver, of course, he also supported us. So and because I'm into a business which deals with I'm into molecular diagnostics. That's my big business. That forms a chunk of my business. And within that, I'm into detection of, extraction and assay of viruses. So COVID presented a challenge to us. And virtually, I can say, after being so many years in the business, having a proper set organization, I had to personally go and deliver goods. So one day, someone from JJ Hospital called me and he said, we're very embarrassed, but can you make the delivery of this product right now? We require it at night to run our tests. So even after years of being in your business, you could still become a delivery boy. Now, the positive thing is that at the age of 59, I became a boy. I became a delivery boy. So I was very happy with that. In fact, this very big businessman, Elon Musk, he gives an example. Now, Elon Musk, all of you know, with Tesla, he's like ultra big. His company is about easily valued at $1 trillion. That's the market cap of his company. So he says in his talks are available on, of course, many places. But the place where I go to is Khan Academy. His talks are there in Khan Academy. And he tells that there are many times when I have to become the purchase manager or I have to become the sales guy. And especially when do I have to become a purchase manager? Because a small part, like a cap of a particular, of let's say, whatever has to go over in the vehicle, a small cap, some supplier goofs up and then everyone in the organization becomes a purchase manager. So such challenges keep coming, whether you are Richard Branson or you are Elon Musk or small Ujjwal Jaju. It will keep coming and you'll have to take it in your stride. Therefore, I said, you'll have to be all rolled into one for a long time. Especially you will need to have a fair understanding, more than fair understanding about legalities and accounts. Finally, when you get into business, of course, I guess sales will be within your system because it's you who have the idea. So another critical thing is, before you try to jump into business or you say what business to start, kindly question yourself that this idea of mine solves what problem? What is it that, whoever I give this idea to as a service and I take money from him or her, how it is going to benefit that recipient? That is the critical thing. Your idea needs to solve a problem. Your idea, your service needs to solve a problem. So please ask yourself, please ask your critics, please ask your wife that, hey, does this sound good? And if she says no, do not even attempt it. The next thing is draw up your contact lists, your connect lists. They are going to be very, very important. And please write them down. Your contact list and your connect list, please write them down. You'll find that after having been in business and attempting it for a few years, you will find some or the other person who really takes you off. He or she actually says, I like your services. I like the way you did things. And therefore, here's a new opportunity. I share this one with you. There was a defense establishment in Nagpur, and this is, of course, a few years ago. So this director from this defense establishment calls me up and he says, Jaju, can you give me 5 filters? So I used to deal in filters at those times. And I said, sir, the pack size is 50. I can't give you 5. And the pack size of 50 was costing about 6,000 rupees at that time. So obviously 5 were costing just 300 rupees. He said, no, I can't afford it. Just give me 5. Now that was a decision which I took on that day. I said, okay, so will you take the balance? And he said, I'll take half the box over a period of time. And I decided, okay, I'll send him these 5. The cost of sending that 5 was close to the cost of the product itself. I decided. So I started with a business of 300 rupees with this person. Simply because of this one act over the last 8 to 10 years, he has always given me new and new opportunities, that today that client is at least worth 1 crore of rupees for me. So please remember, when you get into business, nothing is going to be small. Nothing is going to be small. No work is small for you, and no order is small for you. Execute it as if it is the biggest order you've got till date. So these contacts are very important. Either in the government departments, there will be somewhere or the other that you will have some contacts who can guide you, who can say, go here, go there, or this is the place where you can. So you will have to, and it's not just at the start of the business, you will have to keep and maintain your contacts all throughout, and you will have to use them. Even if it is embarrassing, you will have to use them. So these are the few things which I said are absolutely needed: attitude, aptitude, ability, and your contact list. Now, please make a note. 4th on the list is finance. You will need some finance. Of course, you will need the ability to sustain yourself for a year or 2 or more. And if you have a very big finance idea, of course, you'll have to raise funds. Raising funds is a bit easier now, but you would have to put in at least 2 or 3 years of your own money. Only then is a venture capitalist going to put their money behind your idea. Not before that. You will have to show them the proof of concept, and for that you will need your own money. So the venture capitalist is looking, how much of your own self have you invested into this business? Now there are 2 or 3 other qualities which I am going to speak of. You will notice that I've put it 5th and 6th in the pecking order. So you will have to have a good education. It helps. There's just no doubt about it. And more so if your idea is from your line of education. So if you notice, the place where I have come and situated myself is aligned to, a little bit aligned, not so aligned to what I have learned in my education. That is medical. So I know what a virus means. I knew what a DNA means. I knew what RNA means. I knew what mitochondria meant. I knew what a clean room meant. But if you notice, the other businesses, many of which failed miserably, I didn't know anything. For example, the stainless steel business. I didn't know that stainless steel meant 18/8 of nickel and chrome, that combination. I learned it on field, but it took me some time. And I didn't know that so many other things, such technical, small, minor details get you by the left side. But if you know those medical terms, if you know the terms of your business, and you've got some skeletal knowledge about it through your education, it helps. But since I have undertaken a few businesses which I'm running, for example, water purification system, I haven't learned it anywhere. As I said, for defense, I do some air conditioning systems. I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I do air conditioning systems. And in fact, we have done an import substitution. The import price is $20,000. We sell it at $10,000. So that's the kind of development we've done. And last is your age. So Mr. Suta, who just had a big IPO this time, so he has created a record of sorts. Even at age 70 plus, he's got a big time IPO going for himself, and he's called it. Any one of you aware of this? Happy Minds. That's the name of his company. Happy Minds. Okay. Even, of course, he was with Wipro and a couple of other big companies, and he left one of his own startups. So age, of course, if you are young, it helps. There's just no doubt about it. But it doesn't matter. I have seen many, many people start their businesses at 50 also. In fact, like me, I started my, this business of Pramukh Healthcare, I started when I was about 49-ish kind of stuff. So age, yes, if you're young, it matters. But if you have to do business, I'm sure you can hire a few sharp young minds also for yourself. Now, businesses will start small. Like everything big started small, your businesses will start small, but you have to be able to scale it finally. Else you will not achieve profits. You have to have scale in your business. Finally, you will have to have. So in the first year, you may do 1 crore worth of business, 2 crores next year, 3 crores next year. You will see larger and larger profits coming in when you scale the business to a certain volume. One of the basics of businesses currently in this day and age is they have to be legal. They have to be legal. I'm sure a lot of you must have seen some of the popular web series that are going around. One is Mirzapur, okay, Mirzapur, and the other is this city in Jharkhand, Jamtara. These two web series are going on. So these guys also have businesses. What's his name? Mr. Tripathi, Akhandananda Tripathi has a business. He makes guns. But if you notice, all those who supported him, and he including himself, they died finally. They died a dog's death. It will have to be legal. It's the same case with Jamtara. They had a business. They had a business of, fishing. But finally, all of them had to either be jailed or etc. So business has to be legal. Your idea has to be legal. Else it will break down. There will be a point in time it will break down. There's just no doubt in my mind. So question could arise, have I done everything legal? I can say, yeah, 95% legal. I haven't done drugs. I haven't done, if you say loopholes, yes, I've cracked a few loopholes here or there, but now no more, because this is the digital age. You are being tracked everywhere. Until about 1995, you could get away with a lot of things, but not today. You're being tracked everywhere. We all know it. So the businesses have to be legal. Your idea has to be really, really legal. And legal means you will have to respect patents. You will have to respect copyrights. You will have to get permissions if you want to do things. So the next part, which many people say while you want to do a business idea or you want to set your businesses, is you should do goal setting, planning, research, etc., etc. I'm not so much for it, because yes, you can, goal setting. Goal is a very long-term affair. So you could do target setting for yourself. So a target could be a quarterly target, or it could be a 6-monthly target, it could be year-on-year target, or maybe at max 2 or 3 years target. So every year, around January, we try to sort of sit down with the business and say, can we achieve 15 or 20 or 25% more? And how do we go about doing it? So I prefer targets rather than long-term goals. People could have long-term goals, but I've seen very few people who stated their long-term goal and, okay, finally, yes, I've succeeded in that business. Very few. So goal setting, to me, it sounds a little bit ethereal. It's very difficult. Even today, if you ask me, what is your goal in life? Okay, I do know a few goals in life, but they are more spiritual. They're more philosophical. They're not so material goals now. Then planning, yeah, a little bit of planning definitely works, but not too much. Research, you could do with market research, and you could go ahead and say, until this thing is perfect, I will not do it. But I'm a guy, and I guess many entrepreneurs will have to be there that way, that they don't wait for perfection. In fact, I personally think we will deal with a little bit more about this perfection business, but I think waiting for perfection, that perfect product, that perfect research report, that perfect market research, I don't think it's available. You will have to use your own entrepreneurial hunch. You will have to use your entrepreneurial sense about this. So we will now go on to the second part of this session, which is, what businesses can I do? Does this interest you? Could I have a few hands showing that it interests you, that, hey, can we explore, as to what businesses can we do in the current day and age?
Yes, sir, surely.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I wanted to go through this because that is the most important thing. Let us start with one thing. I have gone through the characteristics that you will need to start your business. I have a proposition to each one of you, and you can start your business probably tomorrow or day after. Now, what is this business? It is investing in the stock markets. I'm not pushing you into doing some things, but the reason I'm saying this is, when you invest in the stock market, you will make losses and you will make profits. And try to ascertain your own mental makeup, your own reactions at that time. When I passed my MBA, I borrowed 10,000 rupees from my father, and I invested it in the stock market in a script called Philips. I purchased at 10,000 rupees, and within a month, what happened? It came down to 6,000 rupees. That's the first loss I had as a business. So why did I have a loss? Because I went on something called TIP. Those days, tips were very popular. Even now they are popular. It's only late in life that you learn that, no, you have to do your own research. You have to do your own judgment, your own planning, your own goal setting, that, if I invest in this script, I want so much profit, or I'll block it off at so much loss. What is more important than you investing in stock markets is for you to gauge your own reaction to the profits or to the losses that you make. Trust me, profits are not so easy to handle or to make. And trust me for this, losses are also not so easy to handle. So you need to understand that if you sort of want some training with some small amount of money, with not so much high risk, you could start with 10,000 rupees, you could start with 50,000, you could start with 50 lakh rupees, depends on what you want to. But see what you undergo, see what your mental makeup is telling you, and that's when you will notice whether I have the ability, whether I have the aptitude to bear all the shocks that come, whether I lose sleep, whether I'm able to sleep properly, without getting disturbed. So this is where you could easily start your small training and gauging yourself for a future business. So is stock market investing a business? Yes, it is. Is it for everyone? No, it is not. Trust me, I have been dabbling on the stock market since about 1984, but I never invest on my own. My mother is a stock market. She's an excellent analyst and a stock market operator, and I give all my funds to her because stock market is a business, but again, only for those who want to focus on that only. You cannot do it as a side business. So remember this. When we say, start investing in stocks, it is just for your training purposes and for gauging your own self that you can do this. But finally, you will have to find your own niche. That is, if you want to start your own business. Of course, stock market business is also a business because you're investing in other businesses, you're analyzing those businesses, you're trying to find out how their products do, how their balance sheet looks like, how their management is, what is their long-term prospects, etc. You will do all of these things when you want to start your own business. So it's useful, but it's useful only if you don't go on tips. It's useful for your training if you do your own research and go there. Now, we will discuss a few opportunities, especially we'll discuss a few online opportunities at this point in time. We'll also discuss few that are a no-no. Of course, many people are going there. So the internet business is saturated with recipe business, music marketing, travel blogging. It is very difficult to make money out of these nowadays. So what do? Whatever you do, you must be passionate and knowledgeable about it. And it must fill up a niche or solve a problem or make life easier. So as a pharmacist, you could start reviews of skincare products. You could start reviews of food products and how they affect how they affect the biological system of your body. If you want, you could start an online review of luxury products, luxury homeware. You could review offbeat travel sites like Tadoba in Nagpur. You could review that, and so many others. You could find out, where to get good home cleaning tools. In fact, home cleaning by itself can be a very good service-oriented business. There are many people who want it now because you don't have people available to do your home cleaning. For that matter, if you are so interested in the stock markets, you could collaborate with a stock market broker and start out an online membership. Give out daily news and reviews on how to deal with the stock market. One of the easiest things to start with is to start with a travel company. Now, by travel, I mean you could start out with a Char Dham Yatra. But of course, you should be passionate about it. You should have done the Char Dham Yatra yourself. And you should have got training under someone. So in 1990, my mother, at the age of, she is 80 now. Yes. So at the age of 50, she started her business of Char Dham Yatra. She continued until 1994 or 95. And she used to take only luxury yatras to Char Dham. Now, those days, Char Dham yatras were very, very austere, very difficult things, no good hotels, etc. But at the age of 50, she did it for 5 years. And I'm sure all of you know where that business DNA for me comes from. She was very successful. Then all of a sudden, she had an accident. And then we said, okay, enough is enough. You don't need to go. And she stopped the business. Now, the same model we started running in our Back to Garden magazine, where some of our staff members said, how can we increase the revenues for this magazine? So we thought, okay, what can we do without investing too much? So we started yatras to holy sites. We started yatras with a difference. We would have a kirtankar in the yatra. We would have a kathakar in the yatra. We would have a guide in the yatra, and the yatras would serve food as we like it. We normally have food without onion and garlic, so it's not so easily available everywhere. Now, you could start any of these. These are easy to start up, but remember, They will have a lot of competition, of course, and you will have to differentiate yourself. Another another business. I'm I'm sure all of you are academicians, and you might sort of not like it what I'm saying, but tuitions is a big business. It's very big business, and in 2010, my wife started it. Of course, she is very passionate. She loves mathematics, and I hate mathematics. So she started to train children for Olympiads and maths Olympiads, and you have all those whatever the NTSE for mathematics, etc. And she made a very fantastic name for herself in the last 10 years. So once again, she started when she was 45. So, but she's passionate about mathematics. She loves mathematics, and that you can see getting reflected in the children whom she teaches and the reciprocation that she gets. So you could also do bonsai plants in the backyard of a friend's farmland and sell it online. You can start an online magazine. You can start a rental for all sorts of things. Now, when I'm saying you can start all these businesses, remember, you will have to scale them finally. You can start an advisory on how to register pharma products overseas. You can have a website having ready templates for quality control of pharma products. You could have a ready template for contracts, for legal contracts. We all know electric vehicles is going to be a big thing, and it will require a lot of inputs, specialized services, like even battery replacement will become a source for business for many people. There's another business which I think can be run as a business, is caring for old age folks. It's already on, but I have seen in many overseas countries, it's run as a business. And one of the big things that is going to hit all of us terribly, I remember staying in Dr. Itadwar's flat in Nagpur, I think a year ago. And from the balcony, when I saw the other bungalows, etc., and Dr. Itadwar was around, I said, I don't see people around. And he said, because all the young ones are not in Nagpur. It's only the aged folks who are staying back in Nagpur. So loneliness is going to be a very big issue in times to come. You could have an online registry of folks who are willing to spend time, even for a fee, and they have a certain specialty. Maybe they just sing songs for the old age people. Maybe they sing bhajans for the old people. Maybe they go and tend to them physically. So many other ways. You could help your local pathology laboratory to capture data. Now, I have read of a business in America. He had an X-ray machine. So he started capturing the data for the last 30 years, and he would put all the results also, and he would corroborate them. Now today he has X-ray data that is running into millions of X-rays and millions of corroborations. And he's selling them heavily to artificial intelligence folks who are going to see that, I don't need a doctor. If I just take an X-ray, probably with the AI, I'm going to be able to tell you that, yes, this is the problem. So you could start a pathology lab to capture data and to make sense out of that data. Last year, I got myself trained as a voiceover artist. So I went there for 3 months. I got trained under India's, one of the top 5 voiceover artists. So you could start a business in voiceover. If you don't need too much, you need a computer, which everyone has. You need a okay mic, and you need some editing software, which is available free. Now, audio is becoming a very big thing. Amazon has a full-fledged website dedicated for audio books, and so many other things. You could help doctors and dentists promote themselves. Over the last 1 or 2 years, I've seen so many new dentists who come and make their setup. Unfortunately, they are not able to advertise. Now you could help them in promoting their business. So that could become a service offering from your side and a business for you. So Now you may ask that, I have so many business ideas, etc. Why don't I start them? Why am I sharing it? Now, this is where discipline comes in. And this, okay, we will have a small video called Discipline played. Could Dr. Mitali play this video for ourselves, for us? It's called Discipline.
Yes, sir, surely.
Yeah.
Guru Nani, sir, please play the video.
It's called Discipline. I can't hear the audio.
Guru Nani sir, play the system sound.
Gulshan sir, audio is not there.
No audio, please. There is no audio.
In the late 60s, Stanford University conducted the famous marshmallow studies on children. They offered them a choice of one marshmallow if they ate it immediately, or if they delayed their gratification by 10 minutes, they'd get an extra sweet. And they tracked these children for success in life for years together. Ask any successful sportsman or a student about their strict schedules. You'd likely hear them confess that discipline is severe, but the rewards are fulfilling. Based on the writings of Venugopal, we explore Damned Discipline. What makes a champion different and successful is their discipline and the will to subordinate their dislikes in favor of a purpose. In the late 60s, Stanford University conducted the famous marshmallow studies on children. They offered them a choice of one marshmallow if they ate it immediately, or if they delayed their gratification by 10 minutes, they'd get an extra sweet. And they tracked these children for success in life for years together. Result? Children who could wait longer for the rewards and practice self-control grew to attain more success in their academics and relationships. A silent reassurance of money makes you feel safe. You know you'll have cash when you are in difficulty. A disciplined lifestyle has the same psychological effect as a good bank balance. Discipline acts the same way. You know you have an actual friend who gives strength and support when you need it. You feel safe and confident when you practice self-control. Warren Buffett gave a simple formula for this. You don't have to be smarter than the rest. You have to be more disciplined than them. That's all. It's the solid backing you need when you travel the distance from your dreams to your reality. For more such topics by Venugopal, visit him on yogaformodernage.com.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we have got the glitches sorted out with this first video. So we were at a point where I sort of self-questioned myself and said that why don't I start all these businesses? Now, this is exactly where most businesses tend to fail. Because a businessman, every day morning when he gets up, he sees 10 new ideas. And he fails because he tries to attempt a lot of them all at one time, and he or she fails in that. So I'm sure you've heard of this this incident where it is stated that a Marwadi gentleman went to Haridwar, and by the side of the Ganges, he saw many bodies burning, and he started crying incessantly. So this person who was his guide asked him, "Why are you crying?" So he said, "All these many years, I'm a fool. I was not engaged in the business of wood. It would have made big business." So, people keep getting new and new and new ideas. In fact, I must share this with you that a few years ago, I had to employ the services of a business coach. Now, what was his duty? He would call me up every day evening and make me so uncomfortable by asking me questions. What did you do during the day? What are your plans? Where are you heading? Why you did not do so and so things? Trust me, he used to make my evening sad after that. I could tolerate him only for 1.5 years. After that, I said, "Salute, sir. I cannot take in your questions." But when I look back today, I'm grateful to that man that he, as a business coach, he kept on asking me all those nasty questions, and he kept on saying no to a lot of plans that I would have. I would say, "Okay, let us start this area, let us have another new person." And he would say, "No, stabilize this, what you have right now, stabilize that, then you go to the next step." And I'm pretty sure that my survival hinges because luckily I had some imposed discipline upon myself. And I have also employed the services of a very brutal and a frank chartered accountant and an internal auditor to me. He has imposed very strict financial discipline, especially in the area of statutory government dues, etc. You can never escape from those. So remember, always be legal and pay your dues to the government. Do not fool around with them ever, ever, ever. So discipline really, really counts. Now, all businesses, they have peers and competition, and it is good to have competition. Otherwise, you will not be able to make progress. If I'm not the producer or the director of a movie called Chhalang, but I would request each one of you, if you haven't seen it, please do go and see this wherever you can, where it has a lot of teaching and lessons to be learned for businesses as well. So there is this physical therapy teacher who's sort of having a gala time, and the principal introduces competition. She gets in another new physical therapy teacher, and you will see the results. So do go and check out this movie. It's pretty good. So there will be competition. With competition, there will be comparisons also, but do not get bogged down with it. I will show you a small video which is entitled Comparisons. I would request Dr. Mitali or your admin to please play that video, which is entitled Comparison. Hello?
Comparisons are natural. How can I not compare my Android with my friend's latest iPhone? I was glad he had it and wish I had one. Sometimes envious too. Comparison is natural and inevitable. It does happen on the gross or even subconscious level. Like, can I swim like Phelps or climb Mount Everest like Tenzing? Why does he get so many likes for his blog post? Why do friends listen to him attentively? Looks, money, attire, skills, assets, and house. All of this and more evoke comparisons. But the results of comparing can be channeled into great energy. It does not have to be jealousy, although I've been through bouts of that as well. So what? Krishna Patil, youngest woman at 19 to successfully climb Mount Everest, says, "Nobody wants to be a mountaineer, but everyone still wants to climb Mount Everest." A famous Indian cinestar said, "I am my biggest competitor." give me sermons about not comparing me with another. Give me a break. And no harm in comparing if I used it to inspire myself. Sure, when you compare your start with the middle of someone, it must inspire you. With peers, make an effort to wish them well and plan for yourself to be there. In essence, we need loads of preparation at an inspired pace, and each one of us has this unique stuff that no one else in this world has. Use that to inspire yourself and others. Whether you climb the peak or not, stay alive and kicking and voice your choice.
Just a small feedback, the voiceover and the audio and the video were not in sync, so someone would have to take care of that. It's okay, we're going to have just one more. So the key line in this video was, yes, you can compare, but do not compare your start with the middle of someone else's. So if Mr. Ambani is in the middle of his great success, no one can compare his middle, because he will achieve more and more successes. And I pray for that he does achieve, or so many others, business people across the country. Let them be only at the middle stage at this point in time, and there's more to come for them. But if you start a business, do not compare your start with them. How they do things, why they do things. It's a altogether different level. So do compare, but do not get bogged down. And how do we get to the top? If you had to make your life goal to climb the Mount Everest, you would have to begin from base camp, train yourself, do so many other 100 things, and then go step by step using the services of a guide. Just as in business, when on your route to the top of the Himalaya, you will find a lot of dead corpses of many who were unable to return, which means there were many businesses that failed. So you have to start now somewhere. And I said before as well, that you have to punch perfection in the nose. If you wait for perfection, it's not going to allow you to press the start button. It's not going to allow you to hit the start button. Overthinking, over planning, everything. There's a thin line being more and, getting stuck into that itself. So personally, I feel perfectionism is, for me, enemy number one. So the faster you fail, the faster you'll start and the faster you'll learn. For me, it is like, if you don't start, it's like saying, my car is in the parking lot, but I want to go and learn driving. I will have to take it out of the parking lot, get myself scratched, get myself bruised. Somebody will abuse me. Somebody will swear at me. What sort of a driver are you? But you'll have to do that. There is little option for each one of us. So, when I speak of perfection, many people may not agree, but have you found a system or a company that is perfect? Now, as on today, if we were to see the security systems of banks, I guess they will be like, right up there. Probably only Google may be having a better security system than some of the banks. But we constantly hear they get hacked into, money is stolen, etc. So where is perfection there? But they have to carry on. So, I've heard this somewhere. Your goal is the journey. There is no final destination. It's the journey. Happily go on with it and continue with your journey. So I have not found a perfect company. I have not found a perfect system. It evolves, and the environment is so dynamic that you will have to evolve and you'll have to do something. But there is good news. I am sure you will survive to see another sunrise if your business is legal. And there was one very interesting line in this, which said by Krishna Patil. She is the youngest woman to climb Mount Everest. She says, it's a very nice line. I'd like you to listen carefully. Nobody wants to be a mountaineer, but everybody wants to climb Mount Everest. I loved it. So each one of us, if you start business, if you want to start business, there is going to be risk, there is going to be failure. So if you want to be titled as some sort of a businessman, remember that you would have to take dips in something called failure, in the hot boiling pot of failure. Very difficult to do, but you have to do that. So when we start our business, it is something like the first few days of marriage is the honeymoon period. Now what happens? All of us know. Oh, Mr. Loya is laughing a bit too much, so I guess. So all of us know when you start your business, there's great enthusiasm, there's great stuff. I will give time to my wife. I promise you, I'll get you the moon, etc. And all of us, I'm like 30 plus years experience. So was I talking of marriage or business? Actually, good comparison. But I'm talking about starting a business. So once you start, there is huge amount of energy that you will put in, and do not stop. You will have to, train, retrain, and redo things, etc. You will need more skills. Like, if you don't know accounts, you'll have to better get, some knowledge of accounts or whatever, things like this. And this is normal for everyone. When you start, everything is like, I've made a new letterhead for myself. I've made a new logo. This is my .com website. And see, I have my own personal email. This is my signature. Wow, everything seems very good. Until you see that, for the first year, you're getting, less orders, or you didn't make profits out of your stuff. Now that is the stage when a lot of businesses tend to close down. I did that myself. In 2 years, closed down, 2 years, closed down, 2 years, closed down, 3 years, closed down. And actually, that is the stage when I should have been there. But that stage is called the sacrifice stage. If you are lucky, you will move very fast from that stage. But otherwise, that sacrifice stage could be anywhere between 3 to 5 years to 10 years also. And what are the sacrifices you will have to do? Because making sacrifice is very hard. It's not easy to give up things. What will you have to give up? And nowadays, these things to give up is becoming more and more difficult. For example, the first thing you'll have to give up is binge watching a television serial. So about a month or two ago, first time I got myself a Prime Video Amazon subscription, because my children, how come you're an old man? You don't have Prime Video, Amazon Prime subscription. No, I don't have. So I got one subscription, and trust me, what happened? My wife is screaming. She said, why did you get this subscription? Because all my Sundays, my late evening is going in binge watching. So now I've decided, at best, I'll watch a movie, never a serial, because it takes up too much of your time. Can I request you to play a small video in which I have given, in very brief, what is the equation between sacrifice and reward? Could I please have that video? It's the last video.
Yes.
I'm running out of time now. I'll try to finish in the next 6 or 7 minutes. Can you hear the audio?
Sir, there is no audio. Gurunani, sir.
Yes, madam. Just wait a minute.
T1 and T2 were just about to sit for dinner. Two tired travelers, let's call them T1 and T2, were just about to sit for dinner. A third traveler, T3, joined them, but he had no food. T1 had 5 and T2 had 3 loaves of bread. They decided to divide this equally amongst them. How? Here's guessing time for you. Time's up. T3 asked them to divide each loaf into 3 parts. Now they had 24 pieces. Each one of them had 8 pieces to eat and then went off to rest. T3 bid goodbye next day and gave 8 gold coins as a parting gift, saying, "Divide it appropriately amongst yourselves." T1 demanded 5 gold coins, while T2 insisted on equal division. Think, how would you divide it? The dispute went to the wise old man, who ordered it be divided as follows: 7 coins to T1 and 1 coin to T2. Any guesses why? Here's your 5 seconds. T1 sacrificed 7 pieces of divided bread. T2 sacrificed only 1 piece. In life, do we get rewards in proportion to what we retain or in proportion to what we sacrifice? Voice your choice.
Dr. Mitali, do you have a few questions on hand, or would you want me to continue?
So we have the questions.
Okay, so then I'll very quickly wrap it up because I'm running 5 minutes late. I've
Okay.
used up about 75 minutes of time. 70.
Dear participants, if you have questions, you can unmute
Yeah, just a
yourself.
moment. I need to just wrap this up. My presentation. So as I said, sacrifice is necessary. So for the youngsters, you'll have to stop watching cricket. You'll have to stop watching your gaming. You'll have to stop gaming. You'll have to stop your binge watching, etc. Just so that you could be living a better tomorrow as compared to what you're doing today. And do not let impatience allow you to make bad decisions. Keep playing the long game. That's it. So the legal and the long game. Thank you very much for your time and attention. If there are questions, we will take those up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the motivating and guiding talk. Usually what happened with every failure, we would have been more and more away from becoming entrepreneur. But sir, with every failure, you raise one step towards the becoming successful entrepreneur. And this is a takeaway message for everyone: how to learn from failure and make a failure as a step toward a success. Sir, you have explained every aspect about entrepreneurship. Now, participant, if you have any query, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Or you can post any question in chat box also.
So someone will have to read out the question in the chat box for me because
Yes,
I
sir.
haven't.
Sir, I'm
Yes,
very
sir, yes,
much
sir.
thankful to you for your honest and humble interaction and your very good communication. Actually, that was the practical example of a good communication skill. While interacting with you, I had to learn a lot of things I learned, sir, through our communications when we were about to just fix this meeting. And I'm impressed with your positive attitude, and I'm very much thankful to you. Now
Bless-
we'll go for questions.
Bless me, all of you. I just seek your blessings.
Sir, I have one question that whether the one person must do first the job or he can go just for business from the beginning, or whether it is desirable to do the job for 3 to 4 years or 5 years and then go for a business.
I'm for doing a job and then going in, unless your father is called Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. Even he, for that matter, even he has put his children to the rigmarole. And I'll tell you tons and tons of examples. Mr. Rahul Bajaj, he got his son to work on the shop floor, for the design floor, etc. And only then did he rise through the ranks. Azim Premji, his son Rishabh Premji, has only now at the age of 35 become the chairman. He was inducted only as a manager of some sorts, so many other examples you will see that all of them inducted their children not straight away as the managing director. They got them through the ranks. Some of them even, I'm not so sure, but I vaguely remember that even Ratan Tata, such a deeply respected personality, was in the shop floor of one of the companies, and he was running a very tough company at that time called Nelco. It was very difficult business. So no, not Ratan Tata. So GRD Tata could have always, gotten straight away into the position which, Rusi Modi was, or Darbari Seth in Tata Chemicals, or Mr. Nani Palkhiwala's position. But he didn't do that. He gave him the toughest assignment.
Yeah.
And that's probably where he learned his, he learned the ropes, and he was able to do it. So straight away business, unless you have, yes, of course, nowadays, if you see, some of the computer guys are getting straight into business. So that is a bit beyond me, because now I'm, closer to 60. So about few years ago, my son told me, Dad, I want to just review the opening of a telephone, of a mobile phone. I'll buy a few phones, and on YouTube, I'll post a video. And I said, guy, what are you talking about? Why would people want to see your thing? Now today, unboxing videos are so popular. So I didn't know what he was talking of. So some of the youngster businesses could probably, especially the online stuff,
No.
They are very much prone to, I don't care what experience you have, but I'm sure even they need some sort of a, finally they will need help financially. They will need financial guidance. They will need business sense put into them, or they will need to know how businesses work, etc. So though they will have to be tutored by somebody else. The one possible way of getting directly into businesses, you have your dad who's already running the business and is able to guide you in whatever new business, and you have some risk capital with you. He or she can put that risk capital into.
Yes. Thank you.
Otherwise, better to get a hold of the market, learn something. And yes, if you're in a job, you could start nowadays, because online and the internet affords the possibility of starting a business sideways, but still you will have to focus on it finally to make the success. That sideways means you'll only be able to devote that 1 hour of the small weekend that you get beyond. But business requires, your 24/7. It doesn't work partially.
Yes, the second question I wanted to ask, actually you have answered that in your talk, but age is the criteria where we think and rethink that whether we should start the business or not. Particularly at my age, 50, I'm thinking of whether I should go it for or not.
So let me tell you, somehow, why are you people think that, you are not already into business? You're into the biggest business in this world. You're into the biggest business in this world, which is called raising my next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means for me, it may sound a little bit, airy-fairy when I speak this. I'm not trying to compliment any one of you, or be good to you. But it's only after a certain age that I realize, what do I want? What environment do I want to give my children? And who is giving it? It's the teachers who are giving it. So trust me, I can say 99% of the parents should also go and touch the feet of teachers, and because they are in the business of raising my children, which I cannot do.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to make my child do something. It's much easier to get it done through the teacher. Can you imagine? So you people are also into business, but unfortunately you don't look upon it as business because you love it.
Yeah.
So it's
true.
good for you that you're doing what you love. Very few people get that chance.
Yeah.
Now, you're saying, okay, theek hai, ye to padha rahe ho, I don't get that kind of appreciation that, you are talking of just now. And it's not always, I'm sure students also say, what sort of a teacher he is, what sort of a teacher she is, etc. There are times, but that's because of their immaturity. Or they're supposed to be that way. They're supposed to be that way. Give them that. Okay. At that age, those hormones are going to make them talk like this about us. But come a few years down the line, they'll realize what you are. Now, if you say, still I want to start some business, I listed out so many businesses.
Yeah.
I listed out, why are we thinking that business means to put up a large petrochemical factory,
Yeah.
when are we going to be in business? It does not mean that. And trust me, I believe that each and every person should be rich and happy, both. Now, please use them in combination, because if you try to be only rich, you will find that unhappiness. So happy is a bigger thing than rich, and happy and contented. So, but contentment doesn't mean that I'll not go for my business tomorrow. So I have enough today. I don't need to work. But then, every day morning, my wife gives me my dabba and kicks me out and says, go and earn, dig your well today and get back the atta and the masalas in the evening, and then I'll cook and feed you. So you must have that. We must still, at any age it is possible. I thought even, tending to old age people, if not for money, at least for the satisfaction. So that is the business of the mind. You could be just doing it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, somebody is asking for your contact details for your guidance.
Sure, I will also invest in that person's business if no, I'm not joking. I mean, he or she has to, give a proof of concept. At this stage, the place where we are, definitely I'm looking for some young blood to come and say, भाई मेरे business में डालो, मैं भी इसको grow कर दूंगा. ये भी मेरे लिए एक business ही है. So I don't mind. Please pass it on. My email address you can give. I prefer email communications. Just let them know that.
Yeah, I may give them.
My WhatsApp, at least for 3, 4 hours, I don't look at it. Email is the best way if you want to get some work done out of me.
Yes.
So you can give that, no issues.
Thank you so much, sir.
So are we at the end of it?
Yes.
Hello?
I think Ittadwar
Hello?
sir wants to say something.
Yes, sir.
Sir, unmute yourself. Ittadwar sir.
Hello. Good evening, madam. Good evening, sir.
Yes, go on, sir, please.
Sir, there is one minds of one question. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Sir, there is one question there. Sir, when a young entrepreneur is coming to the market, he or she knows that a number of competitors are already existed in the market. So what he or she should do to match with the competitors, because the young entrepreneur, he knows that the brand is already in the market, and the customers are mostly attracted towards the brand which is already in the market. And when the young entrepreneur will come in the market, he doesn't have an idea what to do to gain the market. This is mostly happens with young entrepreneurs. He tried his level best to do something and to attract the customers, even though there might be some or what he would do or she could do to gain the market. Can you enlighten on this, sir?
Yes. So can I start my reply?
Yes.
Yeah. So from product A to product B, things are not very different. So when you compare whatever, let's take example of a Maruti Suzuki vis-a-vis a Mercedes Benz, or just another i10 also, which is like a comparable product. You will have to differentiate yourself. How you differentiate yourself is a challenge every day, for that matter. With every transaction, you should be able to differentiate yourself. So I gave you that example of when I got a very small order about 8 or 10 years ago, which was worth just 300 rupees. It was a terribly small order. It was going to put me into serious issues because I was giving not even a half pack. I was, and I don't know where I will sell. But that differentiation of service made the difference. So product, I have biscuit, you have biscuit, everyone has a biscuit. But what is it, that unique stuff that you are offering to me? So, are you offering me biscuits with banana flavor, or you are offering me biscuits without sugar for that matter, or you're offering me biscuits that are that do not contain maida for that matter, that biscuits which help me help my bones to build. Or there is this brand called Threptin. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yes.
I have no stake in Rapticos bread, by the way. I'm not promoting it. But Rapticos bread has got these biscuits, which are protein biscuits. So there are biscuits and biscuits and biscuits, but you don't have those biscuits with tea. With tea, you service yourself with another type of biscuit. But if you're if you're ill or if you're exercising, you would have this Threptin biscuit. So you will have to have your niche, will have to have your service slot and differentiate yourself.
Innovations.
No, yeah, innovation is not possible every day.
Uniqueness.
But with every service, it's the different service that you can offer. So, I mean, even a smile is a service. So I'm sure you've all experienced this, that some person is very rude when he's selling things and you got to buy it, so you buy it, okay. But the other person, because he or she smiled at you, you bought 3 t-shirts when you were supposed to buy even one,
Yeah, that's true.
It happens to us so many times. So this differentiation at the end, at that point in time, you would have to be on your feet and differentiate yourself. Or possibly if you're talking of a product, differentiation is again key, but it will have to be really, really well thought of. I said earlier, brands fail left, right, and center. So have you heard of a brand called Opel Astra? Yeah.
Yes.
It was by one of the world's largest automaker, GM, General Motors. But where is Opel Astra today in India? It's not there. So brands like those fail. So mera aur aapka brand to, fail hone wala hai. So we'll have to differentiate it. And I just request people, yes, do brand yourself, do brand your product, but don't have, don't be in that airy fairy world that, I will become Arthur Anderson, or I'll become Accenture as a brand, or I'll become Google as a brand. Probably you will, but over a period of time. So give yourself that time. Sir, was I able to answer you in slightest way possible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So that means uniqueness makes a matter.
Absolutely, but you can't be unique every day. So you'll have to devise those small, unique and innovative stuff. As I said, the smile is also unique nowadays, unfortunately. So, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Itadwar sir has to say something before we leave.
Ujjwal sir always have a smile of $1,000 on his face. And we always think that he has innovative thoughts and ideas. And I am much influenced by his personality also. Many times as a friend, classmate, and even when I see he is growing like as a big person, spiritually also, wealth-wise also. And sir, I'm thankful to you for giving such a time to my college. Rather, it was you who said me that we should do something for the budding pharmacist or the students, and you have extended your kind support this time to us. Thank you very much, and we hope similar gestures in future also, sir. Thank you very much.
Sure. Abhay, I just want to say, I don't know why you had to abuse me in public by calling me sir. Remember this one. Thank you very much to each one of you, Dr. Mithali, Dr. Govind.
Thank you, sir.
So many others who are there in this. I am free to have a chat or a discussion with any one of you, individually, collectively, whatever way. Dr. Mithali will be able to share my contact details. Thank you so much. And I once again deeply appreciate what you people are doing. Trust me, very few people on earth are doing this. Very few people on earth. I'm not making it overstatement. And what an effort, 5 days, 6 days, and repeating these sessions to get one Ujjwal Jaju. Dr. Mithali had to, so I'm sure she'd had to sort of,
no, sir, but there was a very good communication from you.
Oh my God, and to coordinate.
I told my colleagues that this is the practical of good communication skill.
नहीं अभी वो छोड़ दीजिए मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ ना कि जो आप कर रहे हैं that was the motivator for me to come over. In fact, if you recall, I had first told you, do not record, do not broadcast.
Yeah.
Because somehow I feel it is better to be below the radar always, not to come high flying. High flying makes a lot of problems. So I prefer to be below the radar. But anyway, it is the kind of work that you are doing. I'm super impressed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think, Ujjwal, this is a divine designation, a guru or a teacher. And you will agree with me. There are certain designations which are divine. And this is one of them, like mother, father,
No
and a
doubt.
teacher.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now there are few instructions for the participants. All the participants are requested to fill the feedback cum attendance form for all 3 sessions and also requested to solve the quiz in a given time period. On behalf of coordinator, I declare today's session are over and we will meet tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Please join 10 minutes before to avoid the technical glitch. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe, and bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.